Hi, I'm John Norman. Terrorism is an evil, ugly thing. Striking at civilians to further some twisted political or criminal agenda is anathema to what firefighters do and stand for. We help those in need, regardless of race, religion, political views, social status, or any other criteria that doesn't really matter. If the victim is a human being, they are our highest priority, period. Those of us in the fire service have the task of dealing with the deadly results of terrorist attacks, digging victims out of the rubble after a building collapse, extinguishing fires after a bomb blast, and providing victims with treatment and first aid and transport to medical facilities. While carrying out our duties, we are often exposed to dangers like secondary collapse, fire, and bloodborne pathogens. I have seen firsthand the devastation that took place within the ranks of all first responders at the World Trade Center on 9/11. We all must recognize our roles in responding to these events and take the necessary steps to maximize public safety as well as the safety of our own personnel. Fortunately, we don't have to sit around helplessly waiting for the next attack to come. We can pay attention to what's going on around us and inform law enforcement of any suspicious activity. About a month ago, I was coming home from a business trip early on a Sunday morning, like 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, traveling through Minneapolis Airport. And it's really deserted. 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, airports are deserted. So I park in a parking structure and I go to take the underground shuttle over toward the terminal. And the place is deserted. So I get into the second car. It's a two-car little shuttle train, goes back and forth. I get into the second car and I'm all by myself. There's nobody else down there. I can see forward into the next car. There are a couple of people in there and they're, going on vacation. They're having fun. I don't think anything of it. And just before the door closes, in comes a third world individual, and he's videotaping the entire interior layout of the subway structure, if you will, the subway station, and gets into the car and he's taping and he's talking into the tape in a foreign language, and he turns with the tape and he now can see me for the first time. And the look in his eyes, he knew that he had just been caught. I am convinced this guy was conducting pre-attack surveillance, which is one of the hallmarks of Al-Qaeda. They do detailed target surveillance before any attack. And this guy was using good, high-quality video footage, video camera equipment that it wasn't just a guy taking, vacation pictures. He was giving detailed commentary into the camera, and then he stopped and he froze. And I knew, what was going on right away. But I'm by myself and I'm not a law enforcement officer. So I immediately just averted my eyes like, I'm not interested in you at all. I'm just, Sunday morning, I yawned and I'm like trying to look like I didn't notice anything. I didn't see you. I don't pay attention. I don't know anything. As soon as the train stops at the station, I get off and I ran right over to there was a couple of airline employees right there. I said, how do I call the police right away? And I said, well, right there, there's a phone right there. So I get on the phone, call the airport police right away, give them the description, tell them where he was, which way he was heading, tell them exactly what I suspected. They said, all right, we'll get, somebody. I said, you got to find this guy because he is definitely conducting pre-attack surveillance. Get upstairs, relay the same thing to the TSA supervisor. Ask for the supervisor at the gate, ask for the TSA supervisor, give them the same information, description, whole routine. And then I call a friend of mine who's in the FBI, their WMD, their Weapons of Mass Destruction Task Force. You have to get the Minnesota office of the FBI to start checking every bit of surveillance tape you can find, because this guy is definitely no good. He's dirty. My hairs went up on the back of my neck and his hairs went up on the back of his neck when we saw each other. We have to be aware. If you see something, say something. It's so true. We have to pay attention. We have to fight for this country. Terrorism has been around for many years. The attacks of September 11th were only the latest in a string of incidents of terrorism that go back to at least the 1920s.